Hi everybody, it's Doreen and I'm back today with a new series that I'm starting. This one is going to be Father's Day cards with the Cricut. So this is card number 1 and I made this card for my father-in-law who is a big Green Bay Packer fan. So come on and join me and I'm going to show you how I made this card. Okay everybody, so let's go ahead and bring up the supplies so we can get started on the first card of the series. So now, my card measures 9 inches by 8 inches and I've taken it and scored it in half to make it a 9-inch by 4-inch card. The other thing that I've done is I've gone ahead and distressed my edges with the Tim Holtz Distress ink, and this time I'm using the tea dye. So now I'm ready to go ahead and add my top layer. But before I go ahead and add the top layer, I'm going to go ahead and add my scalloped edge. So now my scalloped edge piece measures 3/4 of an inch by 9 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and I've already marked where I want that to lay with a pencil on each side. So I'm going to go ahead and tape this down and we'll open up the card here. And I'm going to use the Tombow adhesive for that. So let's go ahead and get some tape on there. And we're going to go ahead and tape this down. And I want to make sure that I get my edges on the side here. Get some tape on there too. So now that we've got the tape on there, we can go ahead and I'm just going to line this up right on that pencil mark that I have there and go ahead and lay it down. So now I've got my scalloped edge laid down. And now what I want to do is go ahead and add the top layer. Now my top layer measures 3 3/4 by 9, and I picked this paper up at Joann Fabrics. It was in the clearance bin, and I'm not even quite sure. Let's see if I have the name of it. No, the name of it wasn't on the back of the paper. So anyway, let's go ahead and lay this down. And what I've also done is I've gone ahead and inked my edges using the Tim Holtz Distress ink, the peeled paint. And I want just a faint, maybe a 1/4 of an inch at the top. And that looks about right where I want it. So I'm going to go ahead and tape this down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Tombow adhesive. I'm sorry, my ATG gun for this. And I hope I have enough to go ahead and put this down because it looks like it's running out. So I'm going to go ahead and go through and get my edges along here. Get that out the way. And then I'm going to get some tape all the way down. And I'm out of my ATG gun, so I'm going to quickly switch over to my Tombow adhesive. And I'll just go ahead and fill my ATG gun up on the next card that I do. So now let's go ahead and lay this down, and we're going to get, just like I said, a 1/4 of an inch at the top. And I want my edges on the left and right to butt up all the way to the edge, but I just want that 1/4 of an inch or so at the top. And it looks like we've got it. And I notice I do have a little bit hanging over on the one side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly go ahead and take my blade here and just cut that off. Okay, so there we go. So now there is the scalloped and top layer. Now my scallop layer, I use the Stampin' Up! Scallop punch to cut out the scallop layer. So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put on my embellishments. So let's go ahead and do that. The first one I'm going to add is the game night. Now this is from the new Cricut cartridge called Father's Day. And I'm going to be using this cartridge for most of the series. I am going to be using some other cartridges, but predominantly I'm going to be using the Father's Day. And it looks like this. And I was glad this came out. It gave me some good ideas for Father's Day. So what we're going to do, or what I did to cut this out, was to cut the game night. That is, let's see, key number 44. And it looks like this. So I cut that out using some white Georgia Pacific cardstock that it's a brand by Michaels. I'm not sorry, not Michaels. It's a brand by Walmart. And then next to that, key number 45 is the underlay or the bottom layer. And I cut that out on green. I cut both of those at 2.35 for the height and 3.36 for the width. So I guess what you could do if you just don't have a gypsy, you could just go ahead and cut this at 2.25 inches. So I've already gone ahead and popped this up using some foam tape. So let's go ahead and get the foam tape off, and then we're going to add this to the card. Okay everybody, so now I'm going to go ahead and I want that to sit right in the center. So now I've got that layer on. The next one embellishment I'm going to add is I'm going to go ahead and add the recliner, which looks like this. And this is also from the Father's Day cartridge, and it is key number 6, which looks like this. That's your top layer. And then key number 16 is your bottom layer, what looks like this. And I cut those both out at 2 inches. So I've also gone ahead and popped them up using some foam tape or foam dots. So let's go ahead and take those off and go ahead and apply them to the card. Okay, so now I have those on, and I'm just going to lay that right here. And the next thing I'm going to go ahead and add is I've also cut out the little remote control. Looks like that. And that is also from the Father's Day cartridge. And that is actually key number 1. There's your top layer. And then key number 11 is your bottom layer. So I've cut both of those out at 1 inch. And I also went ahead and popped that up as well using some foam squares. And I'm going to lay the remote. I think I want to put it, I don't know if I want to put it down here. I was going to put it like sitting in the chair, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and lay it right there. So now the last thing for my embellishment that I want to add to the card is my father-in-law is a very big, huge Green Bay Packer fan. My dad is too. And it's funny that during my husband and my wedding, or our wedding, that's what they were talking about at the table at the wedding, the Packers. So I wanted to do something for him to represent the Green Bay Packers. So what I did was I went ahead and cut out this Green Bay Packer helmet along with the football. And that is also on the Father's Day cartridge. It is key number 23, and it looks like this. Now, the thing about this is it also allows you to cut the helmet, which is key number 43. But in order for me to cut it like the helmet of the Packers, I had to do some guesswork and maneuvering. So actually what I had to do was I cut the helmet 3 times in 3 different colors. I tried using the hide contour feature, but it was too many pieces to try to figure out what to do. So to make it easier on myself, I just cut it out 3 times. I cut it out once in green cardstock, once in white cardstock, and then once in brown. And then I just cut and pieced the layers together. As far as the G, I took the G from the Alphalicious cartridge, which looks like this, and the G is on page 88, and I cut the shadow. But what I did to make the G a little bit wider, like it is on the Packer helmet, I cut that at 0.56 for the height and 0.93 for the width. So it ended up looking like that. And then for the green oval behind the G, I cut out from the George and Basic cartridge an oval shape, and I made the height 1.17 and the width 0.68. So what I ended up doing was taking off that auto ratio button link. That's the button that's right there, so that I could maneuver and make my height what I wanted and my width what I wanted. So now I'm going to go ahead and add that to the card, and I've also popped it up using some foam dots again. So let's get the foam dots off and get the helmet onto the card. Okay, so now we have it all, the foam tape off, and we're ready to put the helmet down on the card. So there you have it. Now for my inside sentiment, I've already gone ahead and used my computer to put in my inside sentiment, and the sentiment that I've put inside the card basically says, "This special greeting is sent your way when Father's Day is here, but the wish it brings for happiness is meant to last all year." And then I've signed it my name and my husband's name. And I picked this sentiment up I picked it up, actually, it wasn't off the internet. I have a card making software that's by Hallmark that I used to use before I started making my cards using my Cricut. I was making my cards using my computer. So that's where I picked up that sentiment. So that's it. This is the first card of the Cricut Father's Day Cricut card series. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Shall we begin? Let's begin.